Welcome. Tonight, we journey across the vast, windswept expanses of the Gobi Desert, tracing the footsteps of those who lived and toiled beneath its boundless sky. As you settle into comfort, allow your breath to slow, your muscles to relax, and your mind to open to the quiet stories of a world shaped by sand, frost, and the steady march of two-humped beasts. Imagine yourself wrapped in layers of felt and wool, the dawn light just kissing the horizon. In the distance, a caravan of camels, majestic yet demanding, awaits your care. Their measured gait, like a gentle lullaby, sets the rhythm of the step. Tonight's tale begins with their keeper, the hardy, enduring camel tender. Over the next hours, we will immerse ourselves in the daily life of a Gobi camel tender, feeling the crisp air on our faces and tasting the tang of fermented murr's milk. Follow the rise of Temüjin, later known as Genghis Khan, from orphaned outcast to the unifier of nomadic tribes. Explore the sand-buried enigmas of Loulan, where ancient echoes lay hidden beneath desert dunes. Slip into the opulence of a Khan's Yurt, surrounded by silk, silver, and the soft strains of the horsehead fiddle. Each segment will unfold gently, with measured pacing and rich sensory detail, enough intrigue to stir your curiosity, but always mindful of the calm that carries you toward rest. As we begin, feel the hush of the steps settle around you and let your thoughts drift, like grains of sand riding a steady breeze. Wyatt sucked to Tend Gobi Camels More. Now let your mind's eye turn to the pale glow of pre-dawn. The air is sharp against your skin, each breath crystallizing like tiny diamonds before you. Ahead, the camels stir softly, their gentle grunts mingling with the rustle of horns and straps. Morning's first light and frost-cracked lips. You rouse from a low-felt mat, the horse skin beneath you still warm from your body's heat. Your lips are cracked from the frozen air, each inhale a whisper of cold that settles in your lungs. As you push yourself upright, a thin layer of hoarfrost glitters on the yurt's wooden lattice. Sensory note. Feel the slight give of the felt floor as you rise, and the muted creak of the wooden framework. The canvas roof strains against the morning wind, a constant reminder of the open sky. Gentle repetition. Imagine yourself adjusting the heavy flap. The noise soft but insistent, over and over like footsteps echoing in a nearly empty hall. You step into a world painted in grays and pale blues. Camels tall and imposing loom through the mist. Their exhalations form slender clouds that drift toward the low sun. The daily grind, gathering and preparing feed. Your first task is to prepare feed. You gather dried grasses, sogol and shureg stored in burlap sacks. Each handful is rough against your palms, the fibers coarse from weather and use. You moisten the grass with water drawn from a frozen well, cracking the ice with a small metal pick. Sensory detail. Taste the metallic tang of water, just a hint of iron. Smell the dry, faintly sweet aroma of grass softened by moisture. Routine immersion. Imagine yourself repeating the motions to your soak, gather over and over, the rhythm steady and the unbroken. Once the feed is ready, you clip a leather pouch to each camel's noseband and pack the grass within. The animals nudge you gently, long lashes blinking against the darting light. Their breath puffing across your face is warm, a brief reprieve from the chill. Bitter wind and squelching dunes. By mid-morning, the wind picks up, slicing across the dunes in cold gusts. You pull your deal tighter, a thick woolen tunic, and lift your collar to guard against stinging grit. Each step on the damp sand is followed by a soft, sinking squelch, grounding you in the vast landscape. Sensory note. Hear the wind's low, rolling hum, like distant waves on a frozen sea. Feel the sand underfoot, shifting with every movement solid, then yielding. Imagined companion. A small fox, its coat a warm russet in contrast to the pale sands, appears at the edge of your vision. It watches you with curious black eyes, as if drawn from a bedtime tale of Hansel and Gretel. The fox circles your camp, sniffing at discarded scraps and the camel droppings left to fertilize the sparse grasses. You watch in quiet fascination as it skitters away, disappearing into the folds of sand. The burden of the beasts. Camels, though patient, demand attention. You guide them to a nearby salt lick, a mineral deposit crusted on a rocky outcrop. Each animal meals, pressing its callous knees into the cold ground, tongue flicking to scrape the salty surface. You sit nearby, the camels slow chewing a gentle percussion against the silence. Sensory detail. Taste the faint salt on your own lips from the breeze. Smell the musk of camel fur warmed by the sun. Routine reflection. Feel yourself pausing in the task, noticing the camel's soft eye, the gentle curve of its neck, moments of stillness amid relentless duties. Midday rest and fermented Mari's milk. As the sun climbs, you return to your yurt for rest. Inside, the air is staler, warmed slightly by the sun's rays. You unwrap a wooden ladle from a leather pouch and sip erect fermented Mari's milk. Taste profile. Imagine the effervescent tang, a blend of sour cream and subtle fizz, rolling across your tongue. Sensory contrast. Feel the liquid's coolness slide down your throat, a soothing comfort after morning's labors. You close your eyes for a moment, the murmur of camels outside lulling you toward a light doze. The felt walls absorb your breath, the world outside muffled like a half-remembered dream. Afternoon herding an unending horizon. Refreshed, you emerge to guide the herd across the undulating dunes. The camels file out in slow procession, their hooves tapping a hollow rhythm on the hard-packed sand. You carry a long wooden staff, not for punishment, but to help steer strays and prod reluctant stragglers. Sensory detail. Hear the staff's gentle thwack against the camel's flank, soft enough not to startle, firm enough to redirect. Smell the warm dust kicked up by the herd's movement. Endless vista. Lift your gaze to the horizon, a seamless meeting of earth and sky, broken only by distant rocky outcrops. The silence here is vast, pressing, yet strangely comforting. Evening rituals and frosts return. As dusk approaches, you coax the camels back to camp. Each one settles on folded legs, forms curling like crescent moons. You inspect saddle straps, tighten knots, and offer what remains of feed. Routine closure. Imagine yourself repeating these same actions each evening. Secure, nourish, check. The familiarity is both comforting and unrelenting. Sensory note. Feel the air's temperature drop sharply. Smell the damp earth releasing its closing warmth. Inside the yurt, you light a small oil lamp. The flame's glow dances on felt walls, casting gentle shadows. You pour another ladle of arag and let the quiet wash over you. Outside, the wind hums a lullaby of endless dunes. You have walked a day in the life of a Gobi camel tender. The frost-cracked mornings, The endless dunes, the animal's steady breath, and the stark beauty of survival on the steppe. As your eyes grow heavy, rest in the knowledge that the world of sand and sky continues its ancient cycle, waiting for you to return. The Rise of Genghis Khan, from orphan to overlord and more. As the last gleams of sunset fade beyond the dunes, let your thoughts shift from the rhythm of camel hooves to the quieter echo of distant hoofbeats. You are about to trace the extraordinary transformation of a single life that reshaped the steppe. Imagine yourself gathered around a small fire, the coals glowing like embers of destiny, as we begin to follow the story of Temüjin, a boy born beneath harsh skies who would become Genghis Khan. Origins in the scattered yurts. Picture a frosty dawn on the lower Anan River, where the music of drumming water mingles with the calls of migratory geese overhead. You stand beside a small family yurt, its felt walls bound with leather straps, smoke curling from the central hearth. Inside, a mother gently wraps her newborn son in soft furs Temüjin, born amid whispers of prophecies and the scent of smoldering pine. Sensory detail. Feel the warmth of the hearth's glow on your cheek and smell the resinous smoke rising in slender spirals. Imagine the soft give of furs as the child shifts, the gentle murmur of his first breaths. Direct address reprise. Picture yourself holding him, fingers brushing the newborn's fine hair, sensing both fragility and untapped strength. His father, Yazuge, is away on a hunting expedition. Upon returning, he names the child Temüjin, after a blacksmith's hammer foretelling the forging of a great destiny. Yet even as joy fills the yurt, the wind beyond carries the distant drumbeat of tribal alliances and rivalries, an undercurrent that will soon sweep this family into chaos. Betrayal and the darkness of exile. Imagine years passing swiftly, like caravans crossing the steppe. Temüjin grows tall and wiry, learning to ride before he can walk. Then, in a single stroke of treachery, his world is torn apart. A rival clan murders Yasuke. The boy, scarcely 10, finds himself cast out, stripped of leadership, of protection, and forced to survive in the wilderness. Emotive subtlety. Feel the sting of abandonment. The yurt as door flapping aimlessly in the wind. The silence where laughter once rang. Routine contrast. One moment, a son of a respected chief. The next, a fugitive with only a small knife and a handful of dried meat. You journey with him through snow-blanketed forests, scavenging mushrooms and roots, perched on frostbitten rocks. Starvation claws at your belly, and every crack of a twig could be the footfall of an enemy. The nights are long, the wind a constant whisper of doubt. The blacksmith's forge and the fire of resolve. At length, Temüjin stumbles upon an aged blacksmith's camp, a stranger whose firelight offers more than warmth. The smith tends his furnace with steady hands, the heat radiating a calm determination. He offers the boy a place by the coals and a job hammering heated iron. Sensory detail. Hear the steady clang of hammer on metal. Smell the acrid tang of hot iron and quenching water. Feel the rhythmic vibration through the blacksmith's anvil, a pulse grounding you. Character insight through toil at the forge. Temüjin learns patience, strength, and the transformative power of fire, both literal and symbolic. Long hours pass as each strike shapes a blade anew. Here, Temüjin observes more than metal. He studies bonds of loyalty, the quiet dignity of honest labor, and the value of an unwavering purpose. Each completed blade feels like a promise that one day he will reclaim what was lost. Seeds of Alliance, oaths on a shared cup. As seasons turn, the boy and now young man begins forging alliances. Imagine a small fire under the stars, circle of murmuring nobles passing around a shared cup of Mori's milk wine. Temüjin, with a calm gaze, offers his own drink in exchange for oaths of loyalty, total devotion in return for protection and shared fortune. Sensory detail. Taste the subtle sweetness of fermented milk. Catch the perfume of nearby sagebrush wafting on a cool breeze. Hear pledges whispered like hushed prayers, the clink of wood against bone. Repetition for comfort. Each shared sip cements trust. Each whispered vow repeats across time. I am with you, come sun or shadow. These alliances mark the beginning of a movement, a new tribe forged not by birthright but by shared purpose and personal loyalty to Temüjin. Trials by battle, the frozen rivers and the test of steel. Soon, rival chieftains threaten the fledgling coalition. You stand on the rim of a frozen river, the ice cracked in places, water gurgling beneath. In the pale winter light, two opposing forces array themselves across the ice. Sensory detail. Feel the numbing gusts that sting exposed skin. Hear the brittle crash of ice under heavy hooves, the muted thud of arrows embedding in frozen banks. Measured tension rather than graphic savagery. Focus on the cold's relentlessness, men's breath puffing white, boots slipping in shallow water. Temüjin risks all on a bold maneuver. Feigned retreat, drawing enemies onto thin ice. At the right moment, hidden reserves break through, tipping the fragile surface. Rivals falter, the alliance stands firm. The victory, though hard won, cements his reputation as both strategist and leader. The coronation and the new title. With more clans joining, assembly gathers on open grassland. Imagine yourself amid thousands felt yurts forming a mosaic of color against the barren plain. At the center stands a simple wooden platform, awaiting the moment of reckoning. Cultural note, the Khuur a great council convenes. Clan leaders in furs and embroidered boots murmur among themselves, waiting for blessings from shamans and elders. Sensory detail. Feel the soft crunch of dried grass beneath your boots. Smell the incense of burning juniper. Taste the bittersweet tang of communal tea. Then, in a hushed solemnity, a crown of braided horsehair is placed upon Temüjin's head. The title, Genghis Khan, universal ruler of the Mongols, is spoken aloud. The crowd's murmur swells into a low roar, yet somehow remains respectful, hushed as a winter wind. Reflections on power and destiny. As twilight falls, picture the new Khan alone in his yurt. The lamplight flickers on a plain wooden table scattered with letters and maps. He contemplates not only conquest, but governance. Laws to bind disparate tribes, weightings of tribute, the promise of unity. Sensory detail. Hear the soft scratching of a brush on parchment. Smell the earthiness of ink and paper. Feel the quiet gravity of this moment, the calm before future storms. Intimate address. Imagine yourself sitting across from him, hearing his measured voice speak of dreams not of plunder, but of a people bound by common purpose. He drafts the yasa, a code of laws. seeking to temper the harshness of a warrior's life with principles of fairness, punishments for theft, protections for messengers, respect for livestock. Even in the midst of ambition, there is a vision of order. As you rest back against your bolster, the wind outside, now a distant hum, reflect on the arduous path from orphan to emperor. Each challenge betrayal, starvation, exile, and battle was met with resolve as steady as the hammer's blow, forging a leader of unparalleled vision. Soon, we will turn our gaze to the silent ruins of Loulan, where time itself seems to sleep beneath sands. But before that, rest in the quiet knowledge of how one man's journey can echo across centuries. Soft here for the calm of your dreams. Lost Oasis of Loulan, sand-buried secrets and more. As the moonlight drapes the dunes in silvery calm, imagine yourself wandering away from the Khan's court and across a silent expanse where the desert holds its breath. Beneath the shifting sands lies Loulan, once a bustling silk road oasis, now a dream half swallowed by wind. Let us step lightly into this realm of buried histories, where each grain of sand cradles a secret. Arrival at the Ghost City. You approach Loulan at dawn, the horizon painted in pale rose and lavender. At first, you see only a few crumbling mud-brick walls, half buried and bleached by sun. Closer still, the outlines of courtyards, narrow alleys, and ancient wells emerge, like bones revealed by an unseen hand. Sensory detail. Feel the fine desert dust coating your boots. Taste the faint grit on your lips. Hear the whisper of wind threading through fractured bricks. A soft sigh of centuries passing. Imagine stillness. Picture yourself pausing in the courtyard of the old caravanserai, the empty doorways framing endless dunes beyond. A single wind-worn column stands sentinel beside you, its carved relief nearly erased. You trace the shallow grooves with a careful fingertip, connecting with artisans long gone. Canals run dry, a mystery of water's departure. Loulan thrived on the river's life-giving flow channels that crisscross the city, feeding fields of wheat and orchards of pomegranates. Then, in a few short decades, the river shifted and the canals ran dry. Narrative focus. Scientists speculate that tectonic shifts altered the Temüjin Basin's waterways. You stand beside a silt-filled canal bed, pale ridges like ribs beneath the sand. Sensory note. Smell the dryness in the air, the absence of moisture like a hollow ache. Hear the soft crunch of cracked earth, an ancient parched sigh. Imagine the city's residents watching their lifeblood vanish, stepping down ever lower to coax a final trickle. Fields turned to dust and families packed their belongings onto camelback, departing in silent caravans. Mummified remains and silk fragments. Archaeologists first ventured here in the early 20th century, uncovering mummified corpses still clothed in fine silks-colored threads that defied centuries of decay. You follow their footsteps into a shallow grave chamber, crouching beneath the low roof. Sensory detail. Feel the coolness of shaded earth under your palm. Smell the faint, sweet musk of aged fabric. See silken bands dyed deep red and vibrant turquoise, their patterns whispering of distant looms and skilled weavers. Cultural echoes. Nearby, fragments of wooden paddles hint at weaving looms. Small ceramic pots bear the imprint of grapes once pressed into wine. You imagine daily rituals of families gathering to weave, to drink, to share stories beneath the same sun. A solitary sitting figure emerges from the sand, a woman with long braids, her features preserved in a calm repose. You sense her life paused in time, a mother, a trader's wife, a traveler now, a silent guide to the past. Rock art and Ezob Miscellary whispers. Beyond the city's core, sandstone cliffs bear faded paintings, horsemen charging, ibex bounding, and scenes of ritual feasting. The brushwork is simple yet evocative, each stroke a message from ancestors. Immersive detail. Feel the sun-warmed rock under your fingertips. See colors soften to pastel echoes of red and ochre. Hear the distant call of a raven nature's own sentinel over these ancient murals. Storytelling touch. Local legends recall Ezob Miscellary tales of a trickster who guided nomads with riddles and songs. You close your eyes and hear fragments of his melodies, carried on a wind that never tires. As you stand before a grand mural depicting a camel-led caravan, imagine the caravan's horns clanking, and the creak of wooden wheels, the same journey that brought goods and gossip to Loulan's gates. The camel driver's feast, rituals of departure. Archaeological digs revealed a communal dining hall, a long stone trough, charred hearts, and broken goblets. Researchers suggest it hosted a final feast for departing. Camel drivers, an offering to ensure safe passage through the desert. Sensory detail. Taste the smoky memory of spiced goat stew. Smell the wood smoke from the hearth. Feel the rough-hewn bench beneath you. The hush of an empty hall filled with echoes. Soothing curiosity. Picture yourself among the drivers, sharing a simple meal before mounting your camels. Laughter and song would mingle with the crackle of coal's ritual balm against an uncertain journey. A worn inscription near the trough reads, in old script, "May the sands be gentle." You whisper it aloud, letting the words settle into the still air. Evening's quiet contemplation. As twilight deepens, you return to the lone column in the Caravanserai courtyard. The desert's hush grows deeper. Stars then appear countless points of light above the silent city. Sensory note. Feel the coolness of night breeze. Smell the desert's faint algae-like scent. Hear your own steady breath, the soft shifting of sand around your feet. Reflective address. Imagine yourself brushing a handful of sand through your fingers. Each grain a story of rivers lost, of people who journeyed on, and of a city that dreamed beneath a harsh sky. Rest here a while, letting the weight of time settle gently around you, as the desert night hums a lullaby of wind and distant memory. You have explored Loulan's sunken wonders, the vanished waters, the silk-clothed dead, the murals and meals of those who passed this way. Life in the Khan's Yurt, silk, silver, and song and more. As the desert wind settles into a gentle whisper, let your thoughts drift from the open steppe into the warm glow of a grand yurt home of the Khan himself. You step across a low threshold, leaving behind the hush of sand for a realm of vibrant textiles, soft music, and the quiet power of silk and silver. Entering the Khan's inner sanctuary, imagine a circular chamber, its wooden lattice walls draped in layers of the finest silk. Patterns of swirling clouds and galloping horses dance in deep indigo and crimson. The air feels soft here, muffled like winter snow. Sensory detail. Feel the plush thickness of the central carpet under your bare feet, woven from wool dyed with beetroot and saffron. Smell the faint sweetness of incense burning in a silver censer, mingling with elderflower tea cooling in ornate cups. Repetition for comfort. Notice how each silk panel echoes the other in pattern and hue. Swirling clouds. Swirling clouds, a soothing symmetry that grounds you. In the center, a low wooden table of intricately carved yew wood holds a silver tea set, slender spouted pots, small bowls, and cups etched with mythical birds. The metal catches the lantern light, scattering tiny reflections across the fabric walls. The ritual of morning tea and council. You take a seat on a cushioned dais where attendants offer tea steeped from high-altitude leaves. Each sip is lightly astringent, a gentle wakefulness softening your mind. Sensory note. Taste the subtle earthiness of the tea. Feel warmth spreading through your chest. Hear the soft clink of silver against porcelain as the Khan's advisors, clad in fur-trimmed deals, gather around. Social structure. This is the Kurultai in intimate form, a council of nobles and generals who discuss matters of state, trade routes, and grazing rights. Each voice is measured. Proposals are exchanged like gifts, wrapped in respectful deference. You overhear a discussion of jade caravans bound for China, the price of tea leaves from the southern mountains, and the latest report on horse herd numbers. Each topic touches on the lifeblood of the empire, alliances secured, honors maintained, and resources balanced. A tapestry of marriage alliances. Later in the morning, you are escorted to a private chamber hung with tapestries, depicting past marriages of the Khan unions that bound tribes and kingdoms together. Each tapestry shows a bride and groom in ceremonial robes, hands linked beneath the ripple of prayer flags. Sensory detail. Feel the slight roughness of wool threads under your fingertips. See gold thread glint among ruby red strands. Smell the lingering perfume of rosewater once sprayed here for ceremonial blessing. Cultural insight. Matrimonial alliances are more than family affairs. They are the threads that hold the empire's tapestry firm. You imagine the careful negotiations over dowries of horses, camels, and intricate jewelry, each gift a pledge of mutual respect. A hush falls in the chamber as a soldier delivers a jade pendant from the Yurt artisans, a token for the Khan's next bride. Its smooth surface invites your palm, carrying the silent promise of unity. Silver goblets and the banquet of dusk. As dusk approaches, the Yurt's lanterns glow like captured fireflies. You rejoin the Khan's inner circle for an evening banquet. Long low tables grown with platters of boiled mutton, roasted grains, and bowls of dried fruits steeped in spice wine. Sensory note. Taste the tender richness of meat, seasoned with caraway and wild garlic. Smell the heady aroma of fermented mare's milk warmed by firelight. Hear the gentle murmur of conversation punctuated by soft laughter. Imagine comfort. Notice how the Khan breaks bread himself, dipping a piece into a communal bowl, a gesture of shared humanity, even at the empire's summit. Waiters move silently, balancing trays of silver goblets etched with cloud motifs. Each guest's cup is refilled before it empties, the constant flow a symbol of abundance and care. Performers and the Morin khuur's lullaby. After the meal, musicians enter with the Morin khuur, a horsehead fiddle. Two upright horsehead scrolls catch the lantern glow, and as the bow glides across strings, a mellow resonance fills the Yurt notes that rise and fall like gentle waves. Sensory detail. Feel the vibrations through the floorboards. Hear the deep, lyrical voice of the instrument echoing off silk walls. Smell the faint trace of cedar wood and varnish. Soothing repetition. The melody weaves motifs of galloping hooves and desert winds. Galloping hooves, desert winds, a musical lullaby that tethers you to both earth and sky. Alongside the fiddle, throat singers add an ethereal undertone, their voices blending harmonic overtones like distant echoes, soft enough to cradle your thoughts toward sleep. Emissaries in the distant world. Near the Yurt's entrance, a small cluster of foreign envoys, Persian traders, and Tibetan pilgrims stand in respectful silence. They display gifts, caravans of silk bolts, small lacquered boxes of tea, and precious gemstones. Sensory note. Observe the Persian silk's cool sheen. Feel the smooth lacquer under your fingers. Smell the earthy aroma of pu'er tea stored in cedar chests. Global thread. You sense the vast network connected by the Khan's rule, the Silk Road arteries carrying ideas, goods, and culture across continents. Each emissary's gift is a living link between worlds. You imagine these traders settling around a fire, exchanging tales of far-off cities, where stone walls rise higher than dunes and rivers foaming with merchants' barges. Closing moments of comfort and reflection. As night deepens, the lanterns dim. The Khan's court disperses, leaving the central chamber hushed. You recline on a soft bolster, the patterned rugs folding gently beneath you. Sensory detail. Feel the soft indent of silk cushions, hear the distant creak of a yurt door swaying in the night breeze. Smell the last trace of incense, lingering like a fading dream. Intimate address. Imagine yourself inhaling the calm of the Khan's inner sanctuary, knowing that beneath the wealth and power lies a simple human desire for comfort and community. With the Morin khuur's lullaby still echoing, let the opulence of silk and silver, song and counsel guide you toward a tranquil rest. You have visited the heart of power in the Mongol Empire, the Khan's Yurt, alive with silk drapes, silver vessels, and music that blends earth and sky. As our journey across the Gobi draws to a close, allow your thoughts to drift gently back through the hours you've traveled, from the frost-cracked dawns with the camels to the forging fires that shaped a Khan, through the silent stones of Loulan and into the hushed luxury of the Khan's Yurt. Consider the timeless rhythms you witnessed, the measured plod of camel hooves, the steady hammering of the forge, the soft sigh of wind through ancient bricks, and the resonant strings of the Morin khuur. Each echo carries with it the quiet heartbeat of human endurance, ingenuity, and community, woven into the fabric of a world both distant and hauntingly familiar. Now, as you lie poised between wakefulness and sleep, recognize the contrast between their world and yours. There's no need for sharpened blades or thorny alliances here, only the gentle embrace of your bed, the soft cadence of your breath, and the comforting assurance of safety and warmth. Let the desert's hush settle around you, the silk of your sheets cradle you, and the memory of those lantern-lit councils fade into a peaceful void. As you drift away, know that the sands of time continue their silent march, carrying the stories of camel tenders, emperors, and ancient cities into eternity. Good night, and may your dreams be as vast and tranquil as the steppe itself.